Hi everyone, Yana is here and you're watching the die cutting video series. After my previous video that I did for the Spellbinders Explore Beyond blog, where I showed you a dimensional multi-layer card using several Spellbinders dies, I thought it would be a good idea to step away from the regular die cutting, clean and simple die cutting that I usually do, and make a few more cards like the one that I showed you in the previous video. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to play with my dies once again, and I'm going to try to create another fancy card. So here I have several different packages of Spellbinders dies, and I have some ovals, I have some corners, and also have some borders. But for this particular video, I also wanted to focus a bit on a special kind of Spellbinders dies, or a special line of Spellbinders dies, which is called the Enhancing Elements dies. And I will be talking about these dies later on my video. Now, when I'm working with Spellbinders dies and when I'm making these fancy cards, I like to have what I call them in Ukrainian is I call them recipes. So I have sort of like recipes for Spellbinders cards. I know it sounds a little bit weird, I guess, but this is what I call it, and this is what I like to use. I had an article on the Ukrainian version of my blog a couple of months ago, and I shared some of my recipes there. But what I'm showing you here in this video today is actually one of my most used recipe for fancy Spellbinders cards. So notice that I have fancy corners, or like fancy corners in the top part there. Then I have a central element like an oval or a circle or any other shaped element in the center of my card, and then I have a nice border using these border dies from the card creator line. So this is a recipe that I will be using today, and this is what my final card is going to probably end up looking like. So once again, I'm using papers from Graphic 45 from the Botanical Tea collection. I absolutely love it. I think the prints there are just gorgeous, and the cards that I'm able to create with this line are just absolutely spectacular. At least I think so. So here I have some of my elements already cut out of that Graphic 45 paper, and for the elements that are cut out of white paper, I'm once again using the regular watercolor paper. Like I said before, I like using watercolor paper for this because it has a little bit of texture. It's a little bit more thicker, and my embossing shows through a little bit better. So here I have that Enhancing Elements die that I wanted to talk a bit more about. And notice that extra fine detailed embossing on the center of this fancy oval. So this was done with the Enhancing Elements die, and Spellbinders has quite a lot of those Enhancing Elements dies. They have like enhancing circles and enhancing ovals and squares and rectangles, and then some other enhancing like labels as well. And I like using these dies to add something extra, I guess, special to my die cuts, like I did here. I took a fancy oval die, so I die cut a little fancy oval there, and then I used this Enhancing Elements die, and I added a little extra embossed frame to the middle of my oval, and it looks really nice. And if you watched my previous videos on stamping with Spellbinders dies or letter pressing, you can use these Enhancing Elements dies to actually letter press or stamp and add color to to your die cuts. This would be really fun and really cool to do. I'll have to try that out, maybe make another card with that. But keep in mind that you can use these Enhancing Elements dies to sort of like expand the things that you can do with the dies that you might already have. So these enhancing elements ovals, you can use them with regular ovals, with scalloped ovals, with this fancy oval that I have here. You can also use them with other kinds of dies, like other shapes. You can use it with a circle, with a square. When I was at the at one of their CHA workshops, I think it was last year, we had like a little competition at the workshop, and the group was the room was divided into two groups, and we all played with different shapes, and we tried mixing and matching all these enhancing elements with other shaped dies that Spellbinders has, and it was madness there. We made a lot of different like combinations, and you can really create some fantastic results with these enhancing elements dies. Boy, I was talking for a long time about these dies. Now it's time to get back to my card. So here I have a lot of my elements already adhered, and I'm using some doodlebug, some gray doodlebug twine to add some little extra touch to my card. And notice that I've used some regular adhesive as well as dimensional adhesive to create some extra dimension on my card. So I really like adding dimension to cards like this. It helps to make them pop and stand out. And as always, I like to use pearls. So here I have some adhesive pearls, and I'm also using some regular pearls, and the liquid that I'm using, or like the glue that I'm using to adhere my pearls, is actually a Dimensional Magic from Mod Podge from Plaid. This isn't really a glue, but I used it last year to create an ornament for Spellbinders, actually, for the Explore Beyond blog, for another blog post, and I really liked it. And I thought, hey, it's very similar to glossy accents. You're able to create a raised glossy finish with this, and you're also able to use it to adhere some elements down. So this is what I used it for in this card. I used it to adhere some pearls down to my card. So this is just, to give you an idea that if you don't have glossy accents like me, I don't have any, you can substitute that with this Dimensional Magic from Plaid. Now, to finish off my card, I die cut another panel, like another journaling card, and I placed it on the back of my card base. And I also used some stamps from Spellbinders. I really like these fancy sentiments, like handwritten font. And I think that for cards like this, for fancy Spellbinders cards, it's important to use like handwritten sentiments. They really make your cards extra special, and they make them look even more handmade-ish, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the proper word to use, but I'm hoping you understand what I mean. So I used this stamp set from Spellbinders to add a sentiment to the inside of my card, and I stamped it with a very light blue ink. You can't really see it, but it's there, and it's readable, So the recipient will be able to read that sentiment. And I also stamped another sentiment on the front of my card. I used some vellum, and I heat embossed it with white embossing powder. So this pretty much finishes up my card for today, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and if there was any problem with the audio, I do apologize. I have a broken cord, and I'm going to get it replaced tomorrow. But if there were some problems with the audio, I do apologize. So if you like this video, please click like, maybe drop me a comment and share it with your friends. Thank you so much.